Welcome back to FM Storey. We're into season 6 of our save where we try to end the dominance of Celtic and Rangers in Scottish football. We began the season in the last episode and things got off to a decent start. We're currently sat third in the league table and we've made it through to the quarter-final of the Scottish League Cup as well. We did get knocked out in the Champions League qualifying rounds at the first point of asking by Brøndby on penalties. We have since then managed to make it through past Fenerbahce and make it into the Europa League phase where we've played 2 games so far. We managed to beat Bournemouth, but we narrowly lost away at Dortmund. Coming up in this episode, we've got some big games in the league, including one towards the end of November against Rangers. We've also got the quarter-final of the League Cup coming up against Celtic, and we've got another 3 Europa League games to try and boost our position in the league phase of that competition as well. So without further ado, let's get into the action. We've made it to the League Cup quarter-final against Celtic. We've played a couple of games since the end of the last episode. The first of which was a pretty comfortable 2-0 victory over Kilmarnock. Goals from Danny Smith and Matish Singh in the first half saw us to a pretty comfortable victory. The St Johnstone game came off the back of an international break, and then also knowing that we had this League Cup quarter-final coming up, we did play a pretty rotated team. Didn't get off to the best of starts with them taking the lead, but then Damian Perez scored a lovely goal to open his tally for the club, to level it up. A bad defensive mistake saw them go back in front just on the half hour, and then we quickly equalised when an Asadi free kick was volleyed across the box by Anthony Ralston and headed home by Leon King. Second half, we were the ones that had all the chances. We just couldn't come up with a goal to take us ahead. We did, I think, have 2 goals disallowed in the second half for offside. What it means as far as the league's concerned is we are still third position. We're 2 points behind Celtic in the league. We are level on points with Hibs, but we've got a much better goal difference. And now we just need to make sure we put in a performance in this quarter-final, see if we can make it through to the semi-final. This is the side we've picked for the quarter-final. I think it's probably about our first choice. The only question mark is over who plays in the number 10 role, but I think Asadi's having a better season than Sin so far, so Asadi's got the nod for this game. Shimahira is the leading goal scorer in the league, so that's why we've kept him. I mean, looking at their team, they've got Colwill, Udogie, Sancho, Luke Shaw only makes the bench for them. This is going to be although I think they have picked a rotated team looking at who they've left out that played the last game. It's going to be a tough game. Obviously, they're not having the best seasons in the league. They're already quite a way behind Rangers and not that far in front of us. So hopefully we can put in a performance and make it through to yet another semi-final in the League Cup. All right, free kick for them. Udogie into Jashari. Coming down this right-hand side now. Livembo hits the post, and luckily we managed to scramble it away. Babadi bringing it clear into Shimahira. Romeo. Asadi wide to Barcola, who loses out, and Maatsen cuts out that ball forward. We're slowly gaining more possession. We've actually had 3 shots, and all 3 of them on target, but they were obviously such low-level chances that we're not seeing highlights from them. They've got a throw. Colwill. Jashari, back to Colwill. Sargent pulled the centre-half out of the way, and there was a big gap that they exploited, but luckily it's come back off the post. Right, a throw in for us, Garcia. Asadi drifting across the pitch, finds Edstrom. Into Maatsen. Back to Edstrom. Maatsen infield to Romeo, who helps it on first time to Shimahira. Babadi back into Shimahira in the box, and there was no one there. How on earth has that gone in? Shimahira tried to pull it across the box. There was no one there. It came out. Babadi eventually gets it, and I don't know whether he was shooting or crossing. So Shimahira, Babadi slides it through, and Shimahira looks to square it with the Russian keeper. I think Babadi's trying to pass it. It hits Udogi and just rebounds past the keeper and puts us 1-0 up. And there we are, half-time 1-0. I mean, you would say that's against the run of play, given how much of the ball they had. But, do you know what? We'll take it. Now we just need to not do anything stupid in the second half. Right, they're bringing it forward. Udogi down the left-hand side. Into Jashari. Right. Ilicic. Sargent shot blocked. Luvembo into the box. We scrambled to clear, but only as far as Lagerbielke coming up from centre half. Sargent gets his head on it. And that looked like it went through the keeper's hands. So he did well to kind of scramble it clear, but then just didn't stop them coming forward. Crossed up to the back post. And he's basically parried that into the back of his own net. Right there, attacking on the left side. Babadi's got it though. Back to Garcia. Down the line to Babadi. Romeo. Garcia. Romeo again. The ball falls for McAllister. Out to Barcola. Matson on the overlap. Into the box. Squares it. Ricochets like a pinball, but there's Shimahira to turn it home and to put us back in front. It's a lovely bit of play. Started down the right hand side with Romeo and Garcia and Babadi, but then Matson on the overlap pulls it back. A Sadi shot takes 2 deflections, falls into the path of Shimahiro, who just has to poke it past the keeper, and we're in front. Right, so we made some changes to get some fresh legs on just to try and see this game out. We're into the last 5 minutes. Corner for them though. We've headed it up in the air. They've still got it. Oh, Bermudez nicks it back. Their keeper's well out of goal. He'd been up from the corner. Bermudez goes from distance. 3-1, what a finish. I thought he was just going to run it into the corner, but he's ended up putting that in from nearly down the halfway line. He just drives out of the defence. Gets inside their half, sees the keeper still not back, and just launches it towards goal. And that's 3-1. And there we are, full time. We've come away with a 3-1 victory. We were much better in the second half than we were in the first half. And now we're into the semi-final, where I think we've been drawn against Aberdeen. The draw would already been done because the other quarterfinals have been played before this one. So I think it's Aberdeen we've got in the next round. Which means we're probably going to have, the winner of that's probably going to have Rangers in the final, because it'll be Rangers against Queen's Park in the other semi-final. But now we just need to park the League Cup for now and kick on in the league and the Europa League. We've made it to the end of November. We've got a big game coming up in the league at home against Rangers, who are 10 points clear of us, having played the same number of games. Since the Celtic game, things have gone really well. We followed that victory up in the League Cup quarter-final with a comfortable 4-0 victory at home to Hibs. We then went to Ludogorets in the Europa League, and a pretty professional performance. We weren't brilliant, but we weren't really under any threat at all. Came away with a 3-1 victory there. Dunfermline away in the league. Again, not brilliant. We missed a penalty in the first half as well, but a pretty professional performance, a 2-0 victory. Dundee United, we played a rotated team just because of the the fixtures we'd had, and obviously with the League Cup semi-final on the horizon, we picked a rotated team, and things did not go too well. We weren't great. We were 1-0 up at half-time, but after they equalised, we struggled to go in, so we had to make some substitutions. Bradley Barcola coming off the bench to save us and secure the 3 points. Then the semi-final of the League Cup, pretty comfortable victory. We weren't under really any threat at all. 2 goals in quick succession in the second half just really killed the game off for us to see us through to a final against Rangers, which we'll see in the next episode. We then hosted Brøndby in the Europa League and got some revenge because it was the home leg of the Champions League qualifying that they knocked us out in. Again, a really comfortable performance. Came away with a 3-0 victory. St Mirren, because of the busy games we'd had, we kind of rotated the back half of the team. Well, in fact, pretty much the whole team. And we paid for it. We were atrocious in the first half. We needed Barcola again to come off the bench to save us to secure the point in that game. We then went away to Shakhtar, and so a surprising performance, really. We thought that was going to be one of our tougher games in the league phase of the Europa League. We came away with a pretty comfortable 3-0 victory. And then in the most recent game, just before the international break, we went away to Livingston, got off to a poor start and were rubbish for the first half hour, and again required Bradley Barcola to pretty single-handedly haul us back into the game. He got 2 before half-time, so we went in 2-1 up. He grabbed a third in the second half to secure his hat-trick. And as we said, what it means as far as the league's concerned is we are currently sat third. We're 7 points behind Celtic, but with a game in hand, which is this game against Rangers. And we're 10 points behind Rangers, having played the same number of games. But I think more importantly, in terms of the club vision for qualifying for the Europa League and everything like that, we're 3 points clear of Hibs and 4 points clear of St Johnstone with 2 games in hand. And in terms of, like, obviously the first aim of every season is to make sure we finish in the top 6. We're 12 points clear of Kilmarnock in 7th, but we've got 2 games in hand on them as well. In terms of goal scoring, we've got 2 of the top goal scorers in the league, 2 of the highest average ratings in Shimahira and Barcola. Barcola's really stepped up in the last couple of weeks, really improved his performances, and showing that what was quite a high wage we're paying him is worthwhile. And as far as the Europa League's concerned, I think we're pretty safe to say we're going to finish in the top 24 and we're going to qualify for the knockout stages. Having gone back over the last few seasons, it seems like 8 or 9 points has been what's required to finish in the top 24. We've got 12 points from 5 games. In terms of finishing in the top 8, it's normally around 15 points. So if we can pick up another victory out of the last 3 games, we should hopefully finish in the top 8 and skip the playoff round. But we're doing quite well. I mean, if you look at the teams that are around us, Man United, Leverkusen, Dortmund, Villarreal, we're ahead of PSV, Lyon, Bilbao, Sporting, Juventus. We're in a pretty strong position. Although what I will say is we've played Ludogorets, we've played Bournemouth, who are right down near the bottom. But it's interesting to compare Rangers flying in the league, down in 25th position with 5 points from their 5 games. But now we just need to focus on beating them in the league and try to cut that gap that they've got at the top of the table. So going into this game, we've picked the same team that started that last league game. Hopefully we get off to a better start than we did in that game. But obviously, I mean, this is going to be a tough task. We're going in with the 4-2-3-1 that we've played all season. They're going in with the 4-4-2 that they've played for the last few seasons. And hopefully, being at home, we can get off to a quick start. We've got to throw in deep in there, half Garcia, into Asadi, back to Garcia, Asadi in the box. It's gone all the way back to Maatsen. He's found Barcola, back to Maatsen, Barcola, Shimahiro, and that is the start we wanted. Less than 2 minutes on the clock. We've gone 1-0 up. And we've laid down a marker for the rest of the game. I thought we'd probably done a bit too much with the ball here. A bit too much interchange, but Barcola eventually sends the ball into the middle, and Shimahira from about 4 yards out couldn't really miss from there. we're certainly doing our best to control the game, and we've had so much more possession than them. Although they've started to come back into the game now, with possession-wise at least. All right, throw in Matson to Asadi. Edstrom back to Asadi. Driving forward through the middle of the pitch. It's opened up for him. He's found Romeo approaching the edge of the box. Oh, that would have been a screamer. Right, goal kick for us. Kelly short to Elise. Into Romeo. Moving forward with it to Babadi. That's a poor ball in field. Cassidy's picked it off. Jovic, but Edstrom just muscles him off the ball. Matson gives it away. And then Jovic gives it away. Asadi down the left-hand side. Swings a cross in. And the keeper comes and claims it. And then they've gone long. Garcia wins the header. Romeo into Babadi. Down the Shimihira. Oh, he's hit the bar. I think he's been given offside, but it was a lovely run, lovely ball. Just didn't quite time it right. That's exactly the first half we wanted. We've dominated the game, but we should have been taking more than just that early goal. We should have been a couple of goals up at this point. Right, a free kick for them on the edge of the box. This is a Ferris to take it. We got lucky there. Kelly just parries it right back up in the air for one of their players, but luckily the header's straight into his hands. And it looks like we're still controlling the ball, but they've come into the game. All the highlights have been theirs in the second half. They've gone long with a free kick here, and then they've won it. And Jovic is in. Just try to chip Kelly, and he's done it. And I have to say, the way the second half started, that was coming. It's a long ball up. Because they've won the header, fed it into Jovic, and he's just lifted it over Kelly and in off the far post. Right, Gazer back to Edstrom, into Abadi. Edstrom wide to Velasquez. Swings the crossover. Oh, Damian Perez has hit the post with a header. We've still got it. Now they're going to break. Free kick. We've won it back. Bermudez loses it immediately though. They're going to get a last chance here, I feel. Guzman. Into Cassidy. Jovic. Nelson into Weir. And in the end, I've got to feel disappointed with that. Right, the way we dominated that first half, we should have been more than one up at half time. Being one up at half time was always going to give them a chance to get back into the game. But, do you know what? In the end, we haven't lost the game. We're still unbeaten, on an unbeaten run. Yeah. Just need to be much better than that when we come up against them in the next episode in the League Cup final. And there we have it, the end of another episode. And things are going well this season. We are sat third in the league. We could have done with winning that game just to close the gap on the top two a bit. But Europa League is going outstanding. We're in third place after 5 games of the league phase. We've got some big games coming up in that to try and make sure we finish in the top 8 and miss the playoff round. And coming up early on in the next episode, we've got the League Cup final again against Rangers, and hopefully we can take some of those chances better than we have in that last game. Join us next time to see if we can lift that League Cup title again. And also we've got the January transfer window coming up. Given the struggle we're having to satisfy everyone with the playing time, it's unlikely we're going to do much, if any, business in the January transfer window, unless we get big offers in for the players that we've got. Elise is now the latest one that's had big name managers news items saying that they've been to watch him, so hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully it's a quiet January transfer window, but join us next time and find out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.